Seems like working from home is a thing that just about everybody is doing nowadays. Hey beautiful, welcome back to my channel. Tamia Dawkins here. If you've never seen my face before, I would love to invite you to go ahead and subscribe, because on my channel we talk about all things connected to living the intentional lady life so that you can build a life and a business that I know that you'll absolutely love. Don't forget to hit the little bell for updates. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about how you can go ahead and get your dream work from home job. I'm going to give you all of the information that you need to get started so that you can get that flow of income that I know that you've absolutely been craving and looking for. Let's go ahead and get into it. So working from home has been something that has been known to so many different people over the years, but I think in most recent times, with all that is going on in our world and obviously what's going on in terms of coronavirus, people are in this state of almost scrambling to try to figure out how they can work from home. Some people have the option to do it, and some people are really struggling because they don't necessarily want to go out into the workforce with all this going on. You have stay-at-home moms and dads and just people that are just not ready to make that new step to go out into the world to get work. Aside from that, you have several different families that would rather to stay home to raise their families. I know for me, I decided to quit my job almost 9 years ago, or just about a little over 9 years ago, to stay home with our first baby boy, and I've been home since. And in me doing that, obviously I had a desire to try to figure out how in the world I can go ahead and work from home. And at first it was super foggy. I didn't really know where to start or where to look. But over time, I decided to go ahead and create my own business at home. And that was definitely one of the best decisions that I decided to make, because I was able to really discover my call and my purpose in the very things that I decided to do in terms of working from home. So if you've been really struggling trying to figure out how I can go ahead and work from home, I'm going to give you all of the step-by-step things that you need to know so that you can go ahead and dive right into getting ready to get that work from home job of your dreams. Now, first, before we really dive into the step-by-step things that you need to know to really secure a great work from home job that you actually want to do, it's important to realize that there are two different scenarios in terms of working from home. Number one, you would have the ability to work for a particular corporation that could provide you with benefits. And some people look at this particular strategy or scenario of working from home as something that may be deemed as more stable. So you have that one boss, you have that one supervisor, and you know that you're gonna show up from, let's say, 9 to 5 on a day-to-day basis to clock in for that job. Now, the second scenario would be more so you working from home, but working for yourself versus a corporation. And so you would be named as a freelancer or someone that does consulting work or possibly coaching. There's so many different areas that you could flow from if you decided to work from home for yourself. It would more so be in the realm of entrepreneurship. Now, obviously, along with these two different scenarios, there are going to be some pros and some cons that need to be looked at before you can really make the decision to try to figure out exactly which way from working from home you want to do. Now, I've had the opportunity to do both, and I found that for the particular season that I was in, then that particular method or scenario worked best. It just depends on what you're really looking for and what you will find works for you. So with my advice, I think that it'd be great, if possible, to go ahead and really try to see if you can do both. And I'll explain obviously more in terms of both scenarios, really giving you the details, just so you can try to figure out what works best. And so how can you do both? You can basically do both by really pursuing that entrepreneurship realm, but possibly still making sure that you find that 9 to 5 that would possibly give you the steady income that you're looking for until you're able to build your startup up. That's one of the greatest things that I think that an entrepreneur could do, just to make sure that they have that income coming in until they can get sure about exactly what they're doing, and then they can make that consistent income on a reoccurring basis so that you can have that security. So both are definitely possible. You just have to make sure that you set up your schedule, making sure that things are in place so that you don't get completely overwhelmed with trying to carry both scenarios. Now, there are obviously going to be a couple of pros and cons on the basis of the different scenarios, and it's important to obviously get clear on those two so that you can try to figure out, once again, what you want to be able to do and definitely stick to in the process, even though you can restart at any point, especially when it comes to stay-at-home jobs, as long as you know that you have the security in terms of the income or the savings or the investment or whatever have you. Now, starting with the pros of more so like corporate jobs, most people believe that corporate jobs in terms of working from home may be more sturdy because of the fact that you have that set consistent amount of pay, like you know where you're getting paid. And usually with most corporate jobs that offer you a particular position with one boss or one supervisor, they have the tendency to pay you maybe like what's known as time and a half anytime you work over the allotted amount of hours that you have signed off to work within your contract. So let's say, for instance, your base pay is $12 or $14 an hour. If you go ahead and work over 40 hours, then you might get paid $18 or $20 for the additional hours. And some people just like to have that stability in terms of corporate jobs that definitely come with benefits as well in terms of the benefits packages that they have. Now, I think that obviously it's easier for big corporations to offer benefit packages the way that they do because of the fact that they have so many other employees. So the packages definitely work. And some people really look into that in comparison to freelancing because of the fact that insurance can be really, really, really expensive in our country in particular. Now, once you weigh those different options, then you'll definitely know whether you want to just go ahead and do the corporate job versus doing freelancing. Now, some of the pros in terms of freelancing is that you have the ability to be able to gain more clientele versus when you're working for a corporation, you're working just for that one boss. But when you're a freelancer, you can have a whole bunch of different customers and clients and contracts, and then let's say you lose a particular contract or something comes up, you still can go ahead and take on more and more clients versus when you're working in the corporate world, more so, if you lose that one job, then that's kind of it. It's not like they're gonna hand you another job. And I think that our country has seen a lot of this, especially with regards to the current situation with coronavirus. There's something like 35 million unemployed people right now. And so they're unemployed because their corporation didn't have a system whereas they could go ahead and find them another, corporation to be able to work for. And so with regards to freelancing, one of the pros is the fact that you'll always have endless clientele once you build up your base. So if one goes down or it goes bad, you still have other people that you're working for, so you can keep that consistent flow of cash coming in. Now, obviously, I've already mentioned the cons when it comes to working for a corporation, in that if they fire you or you get laid off, then that's kind of it. Unless you have engaged with different clientele that maybe you met in terms of the corporation, and somehow with integrity, you can try to figure out how you can go ahead and maybe pitch to other corporations that were connected to that one to try to see if you could find work. With regards to freelancing, a con would be that it does take some time to really build up your clientele, and most people just don't have that patience, or do they have circumstances, situations that would allow for them to have the time to build up their clientele. But if you do, let's say you're in a situation where possibly you're getting unemployment, you could possibly go ahead and build up your clientele because of the fact that you know that that consistent income is coming in. Or if you have another stream of income that you can go ahead and really depend on, then at least you know that you're building your clientele, that it will be a consistent flow eventually, in spite of the fact that you just have that one income for now. So there are so many different things to weigh when you're looking at both scenarios. And like I mentioned, you could probably try to see if you can do both, or just try to see if you can look into the one that definitely fits your circumstance and situation. Now, there are 3 particular steps that would be great for you to follow when it comes to now knowing that you want to go ahead and obtain the work from home job. Now, obviously, before I really lean into my 3 points, you would have to make sure that you were qualified if you're going to work in the corporate world, in terms of making sure that your diploma is in place, and if you have to have a particular degree and all that other stuff, or just the skills or the certifications. You just want to check all that stuff, because when you're filling out an application for a work from home job, that's mostly what they look for in terms of if it is for a corporation. So you just want to make sure that you have all of those different things in place in terms of that those different documents or whatever have you, so that when the employer looks for it, you're able to present it for them. Now, first you want to go ahead, aside from just being ready to receive the job, you want to make sure that you know exactly what you want to do. So that kind of goes back to what we talked about with regards to trying to figure out if you want to do corporate versus freelancing. It's important that you probably more than likely maybe go after a particular work from home job that you've done out in the field versus trying to do something different. Or if you want to be spontaneous and you know that you have the different certifications or the diploma or the degree, then you can go ahead and maybe just explore something that maybe you wanted to do in the past that you didn't necessarily have the opportunity to do. You could do it now. So you just want to get clear on exactly what you want to do. Do you want to do freelancing in terms of giving the services or the consultations or whatever have you, or do you want to work more for corporate? And then once you know that, you just try to figure out what exact type of job do you want to do. Do you want it to be an administrative job? Do you want to do customer service? Do you want to do like an answering service job? If it's all surrounded around administrative tasks, like you can do so many different things from home, but just get clear on exactly what you want to do, so that when you go ahead and you apply, whether it's corporate or whether you are looking for clients to pick up in terms of freelancing, you know exactly what you want to do. So I kind of already had the opportunity to mention this second thing. I believe that it's worth mentioning again in the sequence of what needs to be done so that you can really obtain whatever type out of the two scenarios of different work from home jobs that I mentioned. And that is to make sure that you feel secure with the skills that are required for the job that you're looking to do corporately, or if you're looking to do more so of a freelance entrepreneurship kind of flow. And the reason why you want to do this is because you just want to have that assurance that you are qualified to be able to get the job done. Now, I think that there is a lot of pressure with regards to having skills, certifications, if there's a necessity for a diploma, more so in corporate America, in terms of obtaining a job from another person, an employer, a corporation, versus doing a freelancing job. Even though you still need certifications, you still have to draft contracts, like you have to have your stuff in order, even if you're working independently from home as well. So if you're not sure if you have certain kind of certifications that would qualify you, if you're not sure that you have the back end to be able to prove your expertise in whatever area in terms of the two different scenarios, really get straight in terms of working on those things. Just make sure that you are completely, once again, secure about the fact that you have the needed qualifications to obtain that work from home job, or either to do the work in terms of freelancing. Next, if it is possible for you to go ahead and begin to set up yourself for the work from home jobs, meaning to say that you have all of your eggs in the right basket. So I think that a lot of times we may have the desire to do certain things, but we have not gone through the process to really prep ourselves. And so when we talked about in my second tip in terms of making sure that you have the skills, making sure that you just prep yourself overall is super important as well. Now, I don't think that people realize the full necessity of prepping yourself, but I think that it is worth mentioning because of the fact that once you go ahead and you start working as a freelancer and getting the clientele, or once you start working for the corporate job, there's going to have to be some shifts that take place in terms of your scheduling or whatever it is that you were doing before you went ahead and obtained that job. So I think this is an excellent tip for getting you ready to get back in the flow of working. Even though you're working from home, you still have to be in a certain mindset to prep yourself to either get up early or to make sure that your time block schedule is together. Like whatever have you, just make sure that you are prepped and absolutely ready to get started. Whatever that may look like for you, you just have to make sure that you're in the right mindset space so that you can do your best whether you are looking to be that entrepreneur freelancer or you're working for corporate America from home as well. Now, I know what to do in terms of prepping myself. You know, I've finally decided what it is that I want to do in terms of working from home, whether I want to do freelancing or I want to go ahead and work for corporate America. But I think some people get stuck literally on the steps of how to make sure that you are getting the clients if you're doing freelancing, or how you can go ahead and present yourself to different people in the corporate America space that will hire you as well from home. And so for one, you can go ahead and begin to post your resume on different job boards such as like monster.com and Indeed. If you want to go for more of a corporate America job, all you have to do is make sure that your resume is updated and everything looks good. You can put together a cover letter just by making sure that you do a Google search to see what would be the best flow for that. When you send out your cover letter, you don't want to send out the same one every single time. If it's a different job or a different area of work, then you want to make sure that that cover letter goes with that particular job, because it'll seem kind of awkward and weird for you to mention maybe some skills in terms of health and you're sending somebody a cover page for an administrative position that has nothing to do with it. So you definitely want to maybe type up different kind of cover letters for the different industries that you want to work in, and then you'll find that you just have it ready maybe in a Google doc file or something like that, so that you can just be ready every single day to consistently send out the resume so that you can obtain that job faster. Now, the great thing about job boards when it comes to looking for work from home positions is that you can go ahead and post your job information or your resume one time, and then employees will be able to find you. But my encouragement to you would be to go ahead and post the resume, but then at the same time, make sure that you are applying to different jobs every single day so that you have your resume on that rotation. So the two job boards that I mentioned, I'll make sure that I put them in the description down below. Now, when it comes to dealing more so with freelancing and entrepreneurship, I think so many people get super stuck on trying to figure out how exactly to get clients. So what I'll do is I'll post a video right here that will teach you and show you my step-by-step process of how I obtained my very first client. I think that is very helpful information to help you not to feel intimidated by the process, because we most definitely will feel that way. And even after you've been doing entrepreneurship for some time, whether you're looking to obtain clients or customers, you still have that feeling of like, oh my goodness, what if the people don't like me, or what if I can't do the job, even though more than likely you got it down packed. But it's just super important for you to make sure that you definitely have a strategy for exactly how you're gonna find your clients if you're doing freelancing. Now, you would kind of do the same thing in terms of if you were looking to obtain a corporate job with regards to corporate America, but you would go ahead and post your expertise more so in a portfolio on a platform that would help you to be able to find different people that are more than likely within small businesses that will hire you for work. Now, all you have to do is do a Google search. There are several different platforms that hire freelancers. You can look and go ahead and type in the search something like freelancer websites that will help you to try to figure out which one you would go ahead and post your particular profile on. You can do several, and this is how you'll be able to obtain the clientele. The one thing that I love about the freelancer websites is that you don't have to worry about the marketing in this case, right? Like you would for a startup, even though there are certain companies out there that do go ahead and market small businesses as well. So if you post your profile on a couple of sites, then you'll find that you'll get that clientele on a quicker basis. Now, as a quick tip for those of you that are doing more freelance work, you know, offering services to your clientele, your customers, feel free to definitely make sure that you offer maybe a sample of your work, which is in some cases called pro bono work, whereas you can really hit it off with a client, and if you know that they're connected to other people in the industry that are just like them, then it'll be like a ripple effect of a word to mouth kind of sequence that will happen in terms of people just letting other people know that, hey, this person really knows what they're doing. So you could do this by possibly, if this doesn't scare you, maybe inboxing different people. And I wouldn't even say to necessarily always look to do that strategy unless you know you have been possibly engaging with their page for some time, because that happens so frequently to people that it can be a little annoying. Maybe more so do it in more of of a professional way, try to seek out to see if they have an email address. And even if you can't find an email address on their Facebook page or LinkedIn profile or whatever have you, or Instagram, maybe try to send them a message and ask them for the email. Let them know that you want to send them an email about some, services that you want to offer that you feel like is a really good fit for their particular small business. You never have to shy away from offering free services, because some of the greatest corporations offer free services as a sample. There are several corporations that do this almost like a sign of some bait, like, here, bite the bait, and if you like it, then I know that you'll be a reoccurring client for me. So in terms of just hustling to make sure that you get your name out there and let people know that you actually are alive and you exist as a freelancer or entrepreneur, this is one of the ways that you can definitely make that happen. So in the comments down below, let me know, out of the 3 sequences or steps that I went ahead and mentioned to you, which one really appeals to you in terms of how you can go about going ahead to get that work from home job that you are absolutely craving and possibly needing for your family. Now, if you have any questions about anything that I mentioned, feel free to also put it in the comments down below. Now, there's one more thing that I absolutely have to let you know, and that is I absolutely believe in you. Do me a favor, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, share this video with those that are in your circle that definitely need this information, and I will absolutely see you again here soon. Ciao.